You say you've tried everything for healthier hair growth, but let's be honest, maybe you need to stop doing some things because these 6 habits we're going to talk about today are likely sabotaging your healthy hair growth journey. Today's video is kindly sponsored by iRestore. On my channel, I have a whole playlist dedicated just to hair growth, hair loss. I cover all different types of hair loss and evidence-based treatments, everything from prescription topicals, medications, and simple things that you actually can do at home that can work, whether it be scalp massage or low-level laser therapy. What the heck is low-level laser therapy anyway? Low-level laser therapy employs select wavelengths of visible light delivered to, in this case, the scalp, to do 3 things. First, improve the metabolism, the energy usage of the cells needed to grow the hair. Second, reduce inflammation. Third, improve blood flow so that you get better delivery of nutrients and growth factors for healthy hair growth. One of the advantages of low-level laser therapy is that you can do it easily at home. There are a ton of devices on the market. Y'all know I am a huge fan of iRestore. Their devices are top-notch, the best in the market, and I've been using their devices for many years now. But over the past year, I have been using their newer iRestore Elite device. I have been seeing results all along, starting about 3 months in. And by results, I mean an improvement in thickness, density, and a reduction in hair shedding. I'm starting to see significant new hair growth above and beyond what I had seen with consistent use before. Like I said, there are many different low-level laser therapy devices on the market, but iRestore Elite device is the most powerful device available. 2,500 milliwatts of power to be specific. It's really easy to use in the comfort of your own home. It's lightweight, it's comfortable, and importantly, it has amazing scalp coverage. And their patented triple wavelength technology utilizes select wavelengths of light that are evidence-based and in such a fashion to deliver the maximum energy to those follicles so that you get the ideal results and better overall scalp coverage. And I really think that that is why I have really turned a corner in terms of seeing better results than what I was seeing before with their professional device, which is an amazing device. But I'm actually starting to see additional results above and beyond what I saw with that device. Towards the end of 2024, if you caught some of my update videos, I talked about how I was observing a significant reduction in hair shedding above and beyond what I had observed using their professional device. But more recently, I've started really seeing some new hair growth that I had never seen before. Check it out if you haven't already. And right now, iRestore has extended my discount so you guys can save on iRestore Elite. I will put the details with regards to the savings in the description box. Just take a look at the link in the description box. Now, I mentioned how this technology works for hair loss by reducing inflammation in the scalp. Inflammation is a big driver for a variety of different types of hair loss, whether it be androgenetic alopecia, alopecia areata, and things that create a lot of inflammation in the scalp can aggravate different hair loss disorders. And a big mistake a lot of people make is bailing on shampooing. You'll come across some influencer on TikTok or Instagram claiming that you should stop shampooing your hair in order to have healthy hair growth. And you actually want to do the opposite. You want to try and shampoo your scalp, that is, as frequently as possible to remove oily buildup. If you don't shampoo your scalp frequently, that oil residue remains, breaks down, is very inflammatory, and guess who wreaks havoc? That little Malassezia yeast that normally lives on everyone's scalp when your scalp is oily because you haven't been cleansing it regularly. Well, that little yeast multiplies, it thrives in the oil, and it releases enzymes called lipases that break down the sebum and generate irritating inflammatory compounds that can further jeopardize your hair growth journey. There are a variety of medicated shampoos primarily used to treat seborrheic dermatitis, aka dandruff, which also have some evidence behind them for helping with hair growth, such as zinc pyrithione and ketoconazole. Check out my video on evidence-based shampoos for hair growth. While shampoo does not necessarily grow hair or prevent hair growth, certain active ingredients in medicated shampoos can address some of the issues in the scalp, such as hormone signaling, inflammation, Malassezia yeast that drive the miniaturization process of androgenetic alopecia. So definitely check that video out for more details on those shampoos. But just regularly shampooing your scalp is a game changer for healthier hair. Always direct the shampoo lather to your scalp, not to your ends. You want to remove the oily residue from the scalp, dislodge buildup of dead cells that are trying to shed. You're essentially exfoliating the scalp, it really can help. Not to mention, you get the added benefit of a little bit of scalp massage, which also helps to improve circulation to the scalp. So you kind of get a 2-for. Scalp cleansing to reduce inflammation and scalp massage to improve blood flow. Speaking of improving blood flow and circulation, this is a big one. And so another mistake that you might be making is falling into the trap of being too sedentary. This is something that unfortunately we can get caught up in as our lives become chaotic, busy, and as we get up there in years and we become very much engrossed in our work. Maybe you work a desk job, you get home at night, you're exhausted. The idea of doing some exercise is so off-putting. You just want to sit on the couch and veg out, watch a movie, watch Netflix, but you have got to incorporate some kind of physical exercise, physical activity. And you may be thinking, no way is doing a workout going to grow my hair. No, not directly. However, exercise can improve circulation, make it more efficient, also reduces inflammation throughout the body, and it also positively influences certain hormones in such a way to favor healthier hair growth. Hormones like estrogen and testosterone influence positively and negatively the hair growth cycle, and exercise can support the hormonal profile that favors healthy hair growth. Furthermore, regular exercise helps with stress management. Stress and the stress hormone cortisol contribute to hair loss, hair shedding. When you're stressed out, guess what your body is no longer interested in? Growing hair, because growing hair is actually very energy demanding. It requires a lot of effort on the part of your hair follicles. And when you're stressed out, in poor health, it's like, let's divert our attention elsewhere because we have more pressing things to do besides healthy hair growth. Not to mention, maintaining an active lifestyle is important for your overall health. I always talk about how the skin is a window to what is going on internally, but our hair, which is an extension of our skin, also provides a variety of clues as well. How are you styling your hair? Are you wearing tight hairstyles, tight braids, tight slick back buns? Some days you don't feel like doing your hair, you might just throw it up in a tight ponytail to get it up off your face. I've been there before. But what you could be doing is sabotaging healthy hair growth by putting unnecessary traction on the hair strands. That leads to a lot of hair breakage, especially if you are coupling these tight hairstyles with styling products that can be drying out the hair strands and making them more vulnerable under that tension to breakage. So not only do you have a lot of breakage, short broken off hairs, making the hair look less full, less dense, but over time, if that chronic traction goes unaddressed, it actually can cause scarring of the follicle such that you don't get hair regrowth in that scarred follicle. It's definitely something you want to avoid. We talk about tight hairstyles like tight braids, but also wearing a baseball cap all the time can put a lot of traction on the hair, especially if it's very tight. So just change it up. If you love wearing braids, you don't necessarily have to stop, but be really conscientious of how you braid your hair and change up the direction that you braid your hair episodically so that you're offsetting that chronic tension on the hair and on the scalp. Also, when you go to bed at night, don't go to bed at night with like rollers in your hair. That puts a lot of traction on the hair. Don't go to bed at night with your hair in tight braids, in a ponytail. That does put a lot of traction on your hair, especially if it is damp from your evening shower still. It can lead to more breakage and fragility. Along those lines, don't go to bed with wet hair. This is especially true if you have a thicker hair texture, because that moisture trapped up against the scalp can be very irritating to your scalp and also can support a more favorable environment with the moisture and humidity for overgrowth of Malassezia yeast, which then breaks down the oil in your scalp and generates a lot of inflammation that can aggravate dandruff and tip the scale in favor of hair miniaturization and hair loss. So if you shampoo your hair at night before you go to bed, if you wash your hair at night, you don't necessarily have to full on blow dry it completely, but use a microfiber towel to remove the majority of the water from your hair. That way by the time you go to bed, it's pretty much dry. You don't have moisture on the scalp. That's what you want to avoid. It's okay if the ends are still a little damp, but you want to avoid that moisture up close to the scalp because it can be very irritating to the scalp skin. Check out my video on more reasons to avoid going to bed with wet hair. We do a deep dive in that video, but just as a reminder, a plus of not doing that is it supports more favorable, healthy scalp, and that ultimately will be helpful in your hair growth journey. Number 5 is another thing that we can easily fall prey to to, and that is slacking on our diet, relying too much on fast food, packaged snacks, and not eating well-balanced, nutritious meals. Now, it is a little bit difficult and outside of the scope of today's video to really define what constitutes a balanced, healthy diet. Everyone has sort of their own definition on it, but I think we can all agree that over-reliance on processed, refined, sugary carbohydrate foods, meals that lack fresh fruits and vegetables is a setup for, well, just not the best diet. And when it comes to healthy hair growth, that is not good. Growing long, strong, full, healthy hair, you need good nutrients for that. You need good nutrition. At the macro nutrient level, protein, really important. And I know everyone emphasizes you gotta get more protein in your diet. You gotta get more protein in your diet. But when it comes to growing hair, amino acids are a must-have. Not to say that you are protein deficient, but if you are not getting in a good source of lean proteins into your diet regularly and meeting your protein needs, could be taking a toll on the hair growth process. Also, are you still occupying the 90s fat-free diet craze? Are you still living that life? The Snackwell's cookies? Ugh. Yeah, a very low-fat, no-fat diet is not so great for healthy hair. You need those omega-3 fatty acids that you can get from healthy fats from fish, nuts and seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds. Those can be amazing for healthy hair growth. Not to mention all of the micronutrients, the vitamins, the minerals necessary for good hair growth. Don't try and make up for it by taking a bunch of supplements. Supplements may be needed in the setting of deficiency, such as iron deficiency, the most common nutrient deficiency. However, a lot of hair loss supplements aren't really dosed to meet our daily needs to support healthy hair growth. They either include too much or too little. It's quite literally a Goldilocks phenomenon when it comes to nutrition to grow hair. You can have too much of certain nutrients, and paradoxically, that ends up worsening hair loss. For example, selenium, really important trace mineral in our diet, essential for healthy hair growth. I mean, you really need it. However, if you get too much, over 400 micrograms a day, you get hair loss, as well as a variety of other serious health complications. Check out my video on signs of selenium deficiency. I go into what to look out for there, and I also talk about the effects of too much selenium, the toxicity that you might encounter. All that to say, try and meet your nutritional needs through diet. And if you have some underlying health issue that perhaps limits your ability to eat these well-balanced meals or absorb nutrients, talk to your healthcare provider about how to meet your nutritional needs. Everyone's nutritional needs unique to them, so I can't really give you generalized advice, but I do want to emphasize that a healthy, balanced diet is very important, not just for healthy hair growth, but for your health, which is the most important thing. Last but not least, I know, I pretty much mention this in any hair video, any opportunity I have, and yes, I'm going to mention it again because this has to be like the #1 mistake that people make when it comes to hair loss. If you have hair loss, you're noticing thinning, you feel like you're shedding way too much hair. Not all hair loss disorders are the same, and the treatments are very different. For example, maybe you have hair loss because you have an underlying thyroid problem that you need diagnosed and treated, and your hair is trying to tell you that. Thyroid hormone is very important for healthy hair growth. There's androgenetic alopecia, the most common type of hair loss, and there's also telogen effluvium, excessive hair shedding, which is triggered by some sort of stressful event or a medication, but can be corrected once that stressful event in many cases has gone away. It takes time, but knowing what you're dealing with, half the battle. Also, there are hair loss disorders out there. If they go untreated, meaning you put off the diagnosis, you put off the right treatment, they will eventually scar the hair follicle down, and you will never get hair growth out of a scarred follicle. So don't sleep on hair loss. See a board-certified dermatologist to make sure you have the accurate diagnosis. Speaking of accurate diagnosis, androgenetic alopecia, most common type of hair loss, you get miniaturization of the follicle. And I've got videos on this channel talking about the different treatments. Check out my recent video on oral minoxidil. You always hear about Rogaine, but check out my recent video about oral oral minoxidil, taking it by mouth, can be a game changer. Medications that address the hormonal aspect, like spironolactone for women, also can be a game changer. Finasteride, dutasteride for men, game changer. But this is a situation where low-level laser therapy done at home can really support healthy hair regrowth for androgenetic alopecia. And like I said, there are a ton of different devices out there on the market. They each have their own little quirks though. Some of them you have to hold in place, can be very cumbersome. Some don't have the best scalp coverage. The reason I recommend iRestore Elite is not only, like I said, is it the most powerful device out there, the overall design and construction of the device allows for maximum scalp coverage. But one more thing about iRestore that really, in my opinion, sets it apart from many other devices on the market. It is FDA cleared. And when it comes to iRestore Elite device, what I love the most about how the device is constructed, it has a safety feature built in. There are these little cushions that are sensors. So when the device is not firmly on your head, it shuts off. Because the device is so powerful, it could be damaging if you looked at it while it was on to your eyes. This built-in safety feature prevents that because it shuts off when the device is not on your head in use. The other reason I'm such a huge fan of iRestore devices is they work. I've been a long-time user, like go back in my channel, going on what, over 4 years now I've been using these devices. Started with professional, got great results, bumped up to their newer Elite device, and I'm seeing results above and beyond what I was getting with a professional device. They work, and they're evidence-based. They've been tested in research trials, shown to help improve thickness and density. Another advantage of iRestore is not only can it be done in the comfort of your own home, but it can be done in conjunction with other established hair loss treatments like minoxidil, for example. But in many cases, it might just take you to another level in terms of your hair regrowth journey. So definitely check it out. Again, I will have it linked in the description box along with my savings code from iRestore. Thank you, iRestore, for sponsoring today's video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.